All right, hello everybody. I've been wanting to make a video like this for a while. Basically, you can go to a lot of content creators and watch them play games and do live commentary, or you can go and watch people do really long lectures. Um, but I thought it would be interesting if we did something more short form. Rather than a 20-minute video, I thought it would be cool to do a 5 to 10-minute video, something that somebody can digest in a very short period of time. Um, and I thought it would be really interesting to start with a 5 to 10-minute video talking about um, basically how something died or how something lived and how it kind of led up to that. Because a lot of people assume that stronger players spend a lot of time reading or calculating something, and part of that is true. But in some cases, a lot of it is just really good shape and then eventually something dying. And so I kind of wanted to talk about that with this game. So we can see that this bottom of the board for black has died here. Um, and if they try to live in any way, so let's go ahead and play out a few moves here. So if black tries to live here like this, um, and they play this move here, which everyone think like this is probably the most common thought. But the problem is that when white plays this move here, black can't make this into an eye because it's self-Atari. Um, so instead, white ends up, or black ends up having to connect here, and white plays this Atari here to prevent the eye, and we get to remove the eye like this. Another thing that some people might be afraid of here is that if black pushes here, maybe we're worried about this cutting point here. But this actually allows us to play this net here. So in reality, black can't escape and live. So this is dead. And so we talk about how long was I planning this kill? Um, Probably not that long, but I did somewhat start to set up for it early. Um, so we can see first, this is my first instance of setting this up to kill. Now I know that this can't die right away, but I know that if I play something like this instead, that my opponent can just play here, and it makes me feel more inclined to respond. And it's really hard to kill this shape. It's very difficult. We can say that he plays somewhere else. Let's just play somewhere else that is not on the same side of the board. And if we try to remove the eye this way, we have multiple ways out as black. We can attach here, and we start to come out towards the center of the board, or we can even capture this stone or Atari here and force white to kind of connect up, and we get this shape, which is not really possible for white to kill. Um, so instead, I wanted to be more severe because I knew that my opponent was going to respond to me, and I am building this side of the board. So now he feels more inclined to come back and play this. And so you can see my opponent is setting up for a cut here. But my thought is that if black was to cut here, um, I can push them out and I get S1. So you could say from at this point, I was also thinking about how I might kill this in the future if black was to cut me, because now I'm just going to live small in this corner, but I'm also going to get an attack on this group here. Um, and we can see that he did cut a little bit after that. And so I can't kill this now, and I didn't think any further about killing this right now. I wanted to be able to get across the board first. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit, and we can see now that I need to make that exchange where I need to come back and live. And my opponent plays somewhere else. Some people might be thinking that's pretty dangerous, but my opponent can actually still live at this point. So let's try to kill from this move. And so we go here. We'll Atari first, force them to connect. Um, and then let's try this move here. But the problem is that black has a solution here. Um, for the sake of simplicity, let's just play this connection here. And let's say white tries to remove that space here. We get into this issue here where this Atari now uh, cuts these stones off for white, and white will not be able to escape here because we can run into this really common Tsuji here, where white now becomes captured. So I can't play this yet, but it is good that this is a possibility for me to cover later and then be able to do that. So we'll go ahead and kind of skip ahead, and we can see my opponent is now trying to live on this side of the board, and they want to run out. And this is really good for me. And from this point on is where I started to realize that the death of this group was possible. Um, and again, it's only really now that I start reading or considering that I might be able to actually kill it. Um, and I generally know that if I surround this, I can kill it. And so my thought here is that I'm just creating good shape on the outside until they're ready to run out, and I can come back and fix my weakness here. And so we can see that I'm now starting to build up. And here is when I actually kind of thought for a moment, where I'm like, how many moves do I need to feel comfortable trying to kill this group? Um, and so I turn here to make sure that I have that net, right? Because if I try to kill it now, so if we try to kill it now, we kind of still run into that same issue here, where we can't really net it anymore. Um, our opponent will be able to kill us. We can't net anymore. And so I decided to turn here to set up for the net. And I played this Atari because I was still unsure, but I knew after this Atari that I was probably fine to come back and kill this group. And we can pretty much see from this point on that there really is no way for um, black to utilize this cut anymore, and there's not really any way out for this group. And so while I had been planning it for quite a while, it was only really after my opponent decided to try and invade in the lower left where I considered that maybe killing it was a possibility. Um, and my thought was to just use really basic good shape to chase this group out, and then eventually disconnect the two to make sure that I was strong enough on the outside to go in and complete the kill. Um, but yeah, so in the end, the group died. My opponent did not realize that it could die, and it ended up dying. And this was a game against another 7-dan, so this was a 7-dan game. Um, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this type of video. I really want to continue to do short form videos like this. I think they're easier to digest and watch. And I will make them alongside my live game commentary videos as well. Thank you for watching.